Welcome to the Stacking Your Team podcast. If you are a woman who owns a small business and you'd like to learn how to lead your team so they don't need you to hold their hand, you are in the right place. I'm your host, Shelli Warren. I've led winning teams in retail, innovative technical teams at a Fortune 50 corporation, and coached many remote teams to win at work. And in case you're wondering, no one escapes team troubles, including me. You already know that the people side of running your business can be tough. I'm here to help. So let's jump into today's episode with a little reminder that the team that got you here may not be the team that will get you there. Are you one step away from your best hire? Or are you one step away from your best fire? Both actions are key to the success of your business, and both take thought. And as we think about taking action on these two steps, whether we're hiring or firing, mindset issues can creep in. When I work in strategy sessions, there are 4 big fears, and we talk about these during our strategy sessions. We flesh them out, and we put together plans for them to move forward on them. The first fear is the overarching fear of hiring. And they often tell me they're so afraid to hire because they've been burned in the past. They also feel like they have no time to hire. They worry about cash flow, like whether they're going to have enough money to actually pay the wages so they can honor the job offer. They're afraid that people are going to actually see their messy back end. And the other thing they keep telling themselves is that they'll never find their unicorn. So let's break these down. Being burned in the past may be true. You may have had some uncomfortable hiring and firing experiences in the past. But here's the thing. You are so much different now. You know so much more now than what you knew then. So you're going to take all of the learnings from those past experiences and incorporate them in to your hiring and your onboarding plans this time around. Worrying that you have no time to hire? Yes, that can feel very real. And it's because we know that hiring is a project. It's a full-on project. But you, lady, do not have to do all the aspects of the project. You can have members on your team provide parts of it, or you could third party out the entire project. But at the end of the day, yes, hiring is going to take some time. It's going to take some planning, and you're going to have to map it out on your calendar. But that's not a good enough reason to not actually do it. The other fear of not having cash flow, not having enough money to pay the wages for these new team members, that can be a very real fear as well. So I like to encourage our folks to be able to have 2 to 3 months worth of salary tucked in a bank account and set aside for this new team member. And what that will do is give you the confidence to be able to go out and attract high-performing team members versus mediocre or quick decision team members that are just based on emotion, right? You meet someone in the grocery store and you offer them a job. This stuff really happens, right? You want to be able to have the cash sitting aside that's going to enable you to attract high-performing people to come and join your team. You can onboard them and feel great about having them there, even though it's going to take them up to 2 to 3 months to really be performing at the level that you need so that they can start bringing revenue into the business or freeing you up so that you can start bringing more revenue into the business. So having that money set aside to cover their wages is really going to be a confidence booster for you. Worrying that people coming into your team are going to see your messy back end. Yeah, they're going to see your messy back end, but hey, that's what you hired them for. They're going to come in and they're going to help you clean up that messy back end. And worrying about the fact that you can't find your unicorn, is that really a fear, or is that just a story you tell yourself? We're not in the business of trying to find a replica of ourselves or an upgrade version of ourselves, right? We don't want to hire another Shelli 2.0. What you want to hire is someone who's going to be able to come in and fill the gaps that you currently have in your business and allow you to be able to buy back some time, right? So you want to look for people that may have a similar skill set to you, but you're not going to be doing those skills anymore. You need to shift over into those CEO aspects of your business and have someone else come in and do those. The second fear is the fear of leadership. And some of the stories that they tell themselves are things like, I'm not a good people person. I'm not comfortable delegating. I'm a control freak. I have super high standards. And the other thing, I'm afraid to confront anyone. I do not do well with feedback. I don't do well giving it, and I don't do well receiving it. So let's break down this fear of leadership. Convincing yourself that you're not a good people person, if you want to convince yourself of that, that's fine. But you can also hire somebody who is a good people person. And you can find that person by having a robust interview process where they're going to tell you about how they've impacted team and culture in their previous roles. Fear of delegation, when you dial that in tight, really comes down to fear of planning or fear of not having a process or a system set up so that people know what to do next, how to get help, and when to do it. But you can get better at delegation through practice. You'll also get better at letting go of control through practice. And you can do this in baby steps, but just know that the person that you hired really want to be able to come in and make an impact in your business. They want to come to work and do something. They don't just want to come to work and patiently wait for you to serve up something to them. And standards, yes, I'm happy to hear that you have high standards. We all want to maintain those high standards. And you can teach those high standards to your team members by sharing with them the intent behind the high standard, why it's so meaningful to you, and why it's so meaningful to your clients and your customers. And being afraid to confront other people because of poor performance, yes, it's a scary conversation and oftentimes a tough conversation, but we have lots of help for you. And you can always get better at this by doing, right? Being practiced at it, preparing for it, being thoughtful in your tone, in the words you choose, in the messaging that you share, even in the location where you're actually conducting this conversation, can all have a bigger impact on the outcome of this conversation and help you get confidence with doing it. The other thing that you can always do after any kind of tough conversation, if you're not feeling great about how it was delivered or with the outcome, is that you can always circle back with that person and tell them, hey, you know what? I'm just not feeling great about that conversation we had yesterday. I feel like the words that I chose were a little too abrupt. I just want to review with you. Here's was my intent. Here's was what I was really trying to get out. And just revisit that whole conversation again. Your team will appreciate it. The third big mindset issue is the fear of responsibility. I hear this a lot where people tell me, oh my gosh, I just hired a new person on my team and now I feel so responsible for them. I'm the one now that's feeding their family. I'm the reason why they can now go out and create their fortress. I'm the one that's going to be serving up work for them. I have to now lead these people. Yes, it is true. You are the CEO of your business and you are responsible to your employees. You definitely are responsible to them, but you're not responsible for them. So when they accept your job offer and then the next week go out and buy a new house or a new car or put a new pool in their backyard, you are not responsible for their spending habits and their spending decisions. You are responsible to them to be sure that you provide them what they need to be able to do their role successfully and set them up for success. But in terms of what they do outside of your office, outside of the workplace, you are not responsible for that. Those buying and spending choices are definitely their own. Oftentimes people really get hung up on this level of responsibility because they may have had an experience in their past where they've actually been told or asked or requested not to cash their paycheck. This has happened to my daughter, actually, a number of times with jobs that she has had in the past where cash flow is an issue and either the CEO delays giving the paycheck or they write the paycheck out but then ask them not to cash it. So if this has happened to you, then you're definitely revisiting those feelings and that emotion that came up for you, that bubbled up to the surface for you when you had to deal with this. And now this is a really big deal for you. You never want to have anyone on your team feel that way. So having those 2 to 3 months worth of salary in the bank set aside for your team member will greatly reduce the anxiety and the emotion over this one. The other thing that you can do is introduce a probation period for any of your new hires. And you can have that probation period be 1 to 3 months, or I even know of probation periods that are 6 to 8 months. And what you're really telling your new people when you have a probation period is that it's a message for them not to be running out and buying a new car, because they need to be able to contribute at a consistent pace, and that there will be some checkpoints along the way to ensure that they are a fit for your organization and that they feel like they're a fit as well. So there's a lot to be said about having a probation period. And the fear of not having enough work to be able to serve up to them is a symptom of you may have hired too early in the past, where you've gone through the hiring process, you've brought someone onto your team, and then crickets in terms of thinking, losing sleep at night because you're trying to create some sort of to-do list for them for the next day because you simply hired them too early, or you hired them without a plan, or there was a dip in the marketplace. But either way, this comes down to timing of when you hire and bring someone on. I was doing a strategy session and she had this concern. And so what I gave her permission to do and what I shared with her is that she could hire a project manager to come into her business 3 times a year to be able to help her with specific product launches. Whereas she had been telling herself this story that in order to get a high-performing, high-caliber project manager, she would need to hire them for 12 months a year. When in reality, that project manager would greatly appreciate knowing that there's a contract in place for her to come into your business 3 times a year to be able to provide that high caliber service for your 3 launches, because it helps her plan her business calendar out for a year when she knows that she's got contracts on the docket for the year following. And being afraid to lead people, yes, this is a real one, especially for people who don't have a lot of experience leading people. They can really become their own worst enemy in terms of not asking for help or guidance in terms of how to lead a team, but you can get lots of help. And you can also look to have people to come and join your team who are self-starters, who do not need a lot of hand-holding, and who can come into your business, hit the ground running, using your standards of operations, using your job aids, using your onboarding process, and really start to make an impact in your business. During another strategy session with a client, she was looking to stack her team up rather rapidly. But one of the fears or one of the constraints and why she hadn't taken action on it was because she kept telling herself that she's not great at leading people. So what I had told her and what I gave her permission to do was to hire someone who would play that role in her business. So she looked to hire someone that was going to be able to come in and give daily direction to the extended team, be able to do weekly check-ins, host team meetings, look at all the key metrics, and essentially serve up all of that key information to her, the CEO. Of course, she was going to have some interaction with her team, absolutely, but the day-to-day and the coaching was really going to be looked after by this new team member. And you could just see the stress literally melt off of her when she realized that she could hire someone to come in to provide that level of help for her. The last big fear within this whole hiring thing, and why so oftentimes we really become the constraint and we can really stall the decision process, is the fear of outright failure. So what if they don't like me? What if they quit on me after I've spent so much time training them and onboarding them? What if they know more than I do? What if they steal my processes and my clients? Let's unpack these a little further. What if they don't like me? It's a fact. People quit bosses. They do not quit companies. So if you're going to be the CEO of your business, this is going to be a stretching experience for you to be able to look deeply into your own eyes in the mirror and ask yourself, what could I do to improve my leadership skills? What could I do to improve the level of connectivity that I have with my team? What can I do to start asking for more feedback that can help me grow as a leader? The other thing you need to remind yourself is that you are a great person. You have a wonderful business. You're offering an amazing opportunity to these people, and you're creating an amazing work culture. Therefore, people are going to enjoy what they're doing. The fear of people quitting. People quit all the time. For you, it's really about how are you going to recover? And you will recover, and you will dip back into that pool of those top 3 candidates that you had when you went and searched and found this new team member. The other thing that's going to happen for you is the more that you hire, the better you're going to get at your hiring processes and your onboarding processes. So if people suddenly quit, and people quit all the time, and sometimes it's not that they're quitting you. Sometimes it's because their partner has just been transferred into a whole new country or a whole new state. Sometimes they decide to go back to school. Sometimes they decide to expand their family, or sometimes they decide that they're going to focus on a particular passion project. Either way, every time you hire and onboard a new team member, you're getting better at it so that when you need to do it again, it's going to become easier and it's going to become less of a distraction on your team because you're just getting more efficient at it. What if they know more than I do? Well, isn't that why you hired them in the first place? We know that at the startup phase of your business, you really are looking to expand your team with generalists, right? You're looking for people who are coming to provide you general skills so that it frees up more time for you. When you move to the scale portion of the growth of your business, you are really hiring specialists. People are coming to join your team that have a specific expertise. It's either an expertise that you don't have, or it's one that you do have, but you know that you need to start releasing control in that because you need to start focusing on other CEO tasks. And then we know at the multiple phase of your business, you're looking to hire consultants. So these people are coming in for key projects or key product developments or a key something is happening in your business, and your business is growing so greatly and so rapidly that you need to have these consultants come in and help you be able to do some more strategic planning. And what if they steal my processes and my clients? Well, you can always have them sign a non-disclosure agreement for sure. And I would recommend that for you if you're having any apprehensions about this. And the other thing that I would remind you is that although they may steal your processes and your clients, they will never rebuild it to be as an amazing business as what you currently have right now. And the other thing I'll have you remind yourself of is every new team member that joins your team, they are bringing fresh perspective for your processes and fresh clients. They're either going to bring those clients and those revenues into your business, or they're going to be freeing up time and space for you to go out and get those new clients and those new businesses. So all of these fears are real. The fear of hiring, the fear of leadership, the fear of responsibility, and the fear of failure. All of these fears are very, very normal. It's normal to feel fear around hiring because you're creating the change. This change is not happening to you. This change is happening for you. And because you are such a key player in the decision-making process of all this, you can decide how, when, and where it happens. People joining your team, you know they're going to have impact. They're going to impact your sales. They're going to impact your team culture. They're going to impact your clients. They're going to impact your products and services designs. They're going to have impact. And that's why you're hiring them. So yes, it's very normal to be a little nervous and a little fearful about hiring and expanding your team. It's also normal for hiring to be a challenge because hiring is a project. We know from the day you decide to sit down and write your job description to the day the person actually joins your team and you start to train them, it can be up to 4 to 6 weeks. And the reason why it's taking you that amount of time is because you're being thoughtful about it. You're putting a lot of thought into your hiring process, your interview process, your best candidate selection process, your onboarding process, your 90-day plan process with them. And if you're doing a trial, a paid trial with them, you're putting a lot of thought into that process as well. It all takes time. And it's time well spent because every new person that joins your team is going to impact the culture that you've been nurturing the whole time. It's also normal for you, the CEO, to feel different as the CEO because you're spending so much time coaching and developing your team. This is now the highest priority for you as a CEO, and it's the biggest shift you're going to feel in your role. Your job now, in addition to being the face of your brand, is to be the person that's setting the direction, the person that's checking in and making sure that the company's mission, vision, and values are alive and well. And then if anything needs to be tweaked, you're doing the tweaking, you're communicating it, and you're keeping all of that alive. So I ask you, could you use some more time? If you could use some more time, and I don't know who wouldn't, you need to hire. And although it's a scary process, it's going to be so worthwhile. And you're going to be getting better and better at it every time you do it. And so is your extended team, who's going to be helping you, making these hiring decisions, onboarding new team members, training them, cross-training them, and continuing to define those roles and responsibilities so that you have a team that feels like they're coming every day to do worthwhile work so that they can have increased job satisfaction, brand loyalty, of course, and be able to fall in love with your business just like you have. Thanks for tuning into our series all about hiring. I hope today's episode helped you start to think differently so that you can get past your fears of hiring. Now, you know that you deserve a great team of people who like what they're doing and who want to stay with you for years to come. But in order to get that team of great people, you need to do some hard things. And for many of you, hiring is the hardest part of running your business. Let me help you make it easier. I'm welcoming new people into my circle right now. And to quickly answer the most popular question I get when I first meet someone, yes, it really is me who will be your advisor. You don't have to worry about being duped again by joining a coaching program and then never seeing or rarely seeing that person again. Nope, it's really me who is on every group call, every training session, and every strategy session, including inside the team leader program, where your highly valuable team members get access to training tools and my coaching. So if you have a team of 5 or more at your brick and mortar or your online business, why not honor who you are and what you're driven to do by taking the next 6 months and joining the Leadership Lab or working with me one-on-one. It's the best way to go beyond the Stacking Your Team podcast. You can get access to me and other incredible women who have a wealth of experience to share with you. Become a client, get the help you need, and then watch your team improve. Watch your calendar get freed up, and watch how adding a few simple structures into how you run your team will spill right over across your whole business. Apply today directly from the website or the links in the show notes. Oh, and one last thing, you're invited to come and join me at a free live virtual workshop. I'm calling it the Team Tune-Up, and it's going to take place in early November. At the Team Tune-Up, we'll evaluate your team's performance. We'll identify some of your challenges, and we'll provide some actionable solutions to get you back on the path to success. Don't go into the final months of this year without being surrounded by people who are thriving in their roles. Let's work together, uncover what's holding you and your team back from greatness, and then let's put a plan together to get back on track. So go grab your seat at stackingyourteam.com/team tune-up. You know, leadership can be exciting, challenging, and lonely at times. So don't go it alone. Let me help you create the team and the leadership structure that you've been craving. So until next time, remember, if you have a dream, you need a team. So let's get stacking yours today.